Welcome to the Distracted Driving Podcast. I am Sean Genovese.
And I'm Rex Williams.
Oh, no pause there that time.
A little bit of pause, just a little bit.
Didn't have to wait for it. Here. Yeah, okay, good. We got things to do. We're very busy. Yeah. Creativity and innovation wait for no podcast preambles.
Yeah.
This is episode 17. I can't remember now if I said that or not. More with our friend Kevin Meredith, who is on a road trip. If you didn't hear the last two episodes, he was in Glacier National Park when we talked to him for this conversation. But I've heard through the grapevine that maybe he's on the move.
Yes, he is. And I was able to catch him in person. You know, we should have done some recording, but we just kind of hung out. It was fun. So he was coming down north. I'm up in Everett, and we met at the Ivers fish place, and right on the coast of the Puget Sound. And so some great views. There's an old lighthouse that you could tour, and I met his kids and his wife and his dog. They have a dog, and the huge rig. He's got this huge 30-something foot, like super tall fifth wheel hooked to the back of the truck, and he was telling me about the close calls and like low overhangs that they had to make it through and stuff.
Well, I imagine that's especially nerve-wracking considering I believe it belongs to his brother-in-law.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that could make Thanksgiving and Christmas a little awkward.
Yeah. But it looked great. They started in Indiana, and so they're coming down, they're going down to California, but they're not going home because they rented out their house for a year. So they are out for a year. And
they have more parks to visit.
Yeah. So they're going to do like every park in the country. And the kids are, they're fine. This little girl is doing a project for school called Ice Cream Across America. So she's having ice cream at all these places and asking them like questions. So we got this place at the Diamond Knot Brewery. They have really awesome ice cream.
Love the Diamond Knot Brewery, by the way.
Diamond Knot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were like out of a bunch of flavors. It was kind of a downer, but they had some, so we got some, and she asked her questions, and so it's going to be part of her report.
We'll have to have her on the show.
Oh, yeah, she was great.
Yeah. Cool, yeah. I was going to ask you, well, how come you guys didn't go to Diamond Knot? But apparently you did.
Well, he grabbed some adult beverages there for him and the wife.
Yes.
But we just got ice cream, and then we went to Ivers, had fish, and then ate out there on the pier.
Wait. So you guys had ice cream before you had dinner?
No.
Or
we
lunch?
Went Ivers first,
okay.
then ice cream. Sorry,
all right.
Right.
Yeah.
But the seagulls came, and they were like so close. Like they get your fries. If you drop a fry or something, they're right on top of it. It's crazy.
Well, that's pretty cool. I'm hoping to be able to meet up with Kevin myself here in a couple of weeks. Maybe have him guest lecture in my classroom. But in the meantime, this episode actually starts off talking about some coursework that he put together for a class at Claremont McKenna, which is a college here in the LA area. And it's pretty interesting. He talks about building up the innovation muscle memory. Amongst other things.
Yeah.
So
really
I think without further ado, we will just get right back into the conversation with episode 17 and our continuing conversation with Kevin Meredith.
Or Kevin Ovation.
.com.
That's the first thing I said when I met him. Kevin Ovation. Like there's some kind of tune or something.
All right, well, let's get to it. Enjoy.
Right.
Because you're teaching a class on innovation, I taught at Claremont McKenna College a course I developed called Innovate Anything. And throughout the semester, the whole idea was this is a liberal arts school, very few technical students. But in Claremont, it's a really special community in that there's a collection of colleges that all share the same course catalog, even though they're different colleges.
Yeah, there's 5 of them, right?
I don't know if it's 5 or 7, because there's like graduate college also, so
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
if you include those. But it's a really unique model in the U.S., and was really lucky enough to do this class there. And the idea with Innovate Anything was so that anybody that wants to learn more about innovation, about any topic, can start to apply innovative thinking towards it. And we would take 2 seemingly disparate topics every week for 15 weeks and force them to develop this muscle memory in order or capability to be able to take any topic in the future that they're exposed to, whether it's an academic project or in their professional development. Then they have the ability to look at these things and try and find new pathways for innovation to be realized. And so the first week, for example, is cinematic arts and the law. And so say, what are the greatest innovations that have ever happened in the legal system or in law? What are the greatest innovations that have ever happened in cinema? And they look at those, and then at the end, and we look at other factors too, like what are the current trends? Where do you think things are going? What key enablers were there? But you take these 2 things and then you say, okay, now, if you only had those 2 topics and what you know about those 2 topics today, what new innovation could you potentially propose to the world? And so by doing that over and over again, 30 different topics, 15 times throughout the semester, they start to develop the ability to do that on their own for whatever it is they're trying to do. So that was, I just wanted to like,
That's really cool.
It was a really fun class to do, and I'm looking to do it in more places as well.
Yeah. So there's next semester's project. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Write it down.
I've got all the topics and the research and the reading and everything laid out for you. So whatever you need.
The 2 classes I'm teaching, each one I have a main semester project. And so on the innovation and entrepreneurship one, they have to run a business for 2 weeks. It'll be around Thanksgiving. And so everything we're doing from now until then is we're building out these elements that are in the Venn diagram so that they're gaining exposure to those, hopefully with the idea that they're going to apply the concepts to whatever they decide to sell. And I told them, look, it could be a lemonade stand for all I care. It doesn't matter what you're selling. I did tell them, though, just do it as if your mother will be keenly integrated into the business. So, we want to try to keep it on the up and up.
Little PG. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But so it's going to be interesting to see what we end up with, because we're using the business model canvas as their architecture for planning out the business. And yeah, I like your idea though about so the key here is building the muscle memory. I love that, because you get used to it, and now they'll walk around and be able to look at things, and they'll just start seeing innovation like they're in the Matrix.
Yeah, totally. And I think another bias that we see and it's part of this innovation washing or innovation theater is it has to be new. It has to be something really different in order for it to count as innovation. But to do adaptive reuse, to take something from one industry and apply it to another industry, or one circumstance and appropriately apply it to another, can accelerate innovation like much faster than if you go from blank canvas and having to do it from new. And the idea that there's anything completely original out there, I would argue, doesn't exist. Everything will branch back to something else in one way or another, or multiple ways. And so we have that video, maybe you saw it, like new is not enough. Like you can't define innovation based on new anything, because it's a false way to think about it today. When the word was created back in the 1550s, maybe it was totally fine. But we've come a long way since then in our understanding of business, of innovation, entrepreneurship. So we shouldn't, and the world in general. So like at the time that those words were created, the world was flat. Sorry, flat earthers that are Rex's and Sean's audience. I'm just going to kill off your audience now if you have them. But like the world is not flat.
We
we're
just
pretty
went from
sure.
5 to 2.
Yeah. And then, and then the other thing is that the Earth was the center of the universe. So like, how many people go around legitimately, that are informed at least, and believe that those two things exist today? But we still believe that new is essential for innovation to occur. Like, we have to mature our thinking and have better definitions, which was one of the reasons why we came up with that definition, because every major dictionary out there had the word new in the definition to describe innovation, and it's just completely false.
I mean, I think a good place to look as a metaphor, or maybe it's going to be an analogy, I haven't decided yet, but you look at music, and very few things in music, if any, are new. It's all the same notes. It's just different combinations of notes.
Yeah.
And you talk about innovation with music. So if I take the definition, the conversion of creativity into value for stakeholders, how many songs have we seen that are hit songs that are old songs? So it's the same song, but somebody has done something different. Right. Yeah. It's rearranged. The Red Hot Chili Peppers did Love Roller Coaster, which was a cover of an Ohio Players song.
Sonny and Cher. Oh, I thought it was Sonny and Cher.
I don't know who wrote it originally.
I don't know either.
But they've converted some creativity into value for stakeholders, because now somebody likes that new version, and if they didn't, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
And it wouldn't be innovative.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now, with that aside, just quickly we'll go through the system model, because I think it's foundational, and I hope that more people start thinking about innovation from a systems perspective. We are a member of INCOSE, the International Systems Engineering Society, and trying to spur up an innovation working group within there to help get some more awareness around innovation from a systems perspective. But our model is comprised of 7 components, 6 of which are little dots, and 1 is a ring that connects them all together. 4 P's and 3 M's. All right. So the first P, purpose. 2nd, people. 3rd, places. 4th, processes. The first M is methods. 2nd M is measures, and then the ring that connects all those things together is meta. And so meta is comprised of some core elements: culture, data, interfaces, and resources. And we won't go through all of those things, but the idea is, through this model and the associated maturity representation of the model, we think we can characterize and enhance any innovation endeavor that is being pursued. And the way that we do that is not by us saying, here's what the best in the world looks like, you should be doing this or nothing else, because we're still so embryonic in our understanding at an academic discipline of innovation that it's too early for that. But what you can hold yourself accountable for through this model is, what is it that you say you're going to do to create value, and what did you actually do within the time frame that you identify, whether that's 1 year, 2 years, 3, whatever it might be, to actually produce that value. And you're validating that not only with, oh, look at the badge I put on my own chest, but what are your stakeholders saying and doing? Are you losing customers? Are you gaining customers? Are you able to demonstrate greater value delivered to the people that are counting on you the most? And so through this system model and the maturity model that goes with it, it's kind of the foundational way that we look at innovation. And all the companies that go through our incubator and accelerator programs get access to all the resources associated with ensuring they're doing innovation. They're building that muscle memory for their own companies so that they can do innovation again and again. One of the biggest frustrations I had leaving Boeing is every time I would try and help support a startup, they would think, oh, we put lightning in a bottle with our startups. That means we know everything there is to know about innovation. And so when we try and have constructive conversations about how to do this routinely throughout the organization, it would break down, and then ultimately they wouldn't want to spend money doing that when they could go buy some new tech developer or something like that, which is a fair trade-off, but maybe short-sighted as well. And so that's why we started to get into the incubator and the accelerator programs and partnering with organizations to deliver those programs so that we could legitimately help build companies to be stronger and be able to do that innovation on their own again and again versus, stumbling upon it perhaps the first time.
What strikes me about looking at this list, your 4 Ps, your 2 Ms, and a circle M. So I don't know if that last one counts, but
it does.
I look at the list, and I mean, going back to what we talked about before, these are things that would apply whether it's a new venture, it's a 100-year-old company, it's something in between.
Totally. Yeah, it's agnostic to industry. It's agnostic to size of organization. And this was not intended when we developed the model, but we've used this everything from an after-action review all the way through helping plan out what a innovation program might look like for an entire country. And so, that's a huge spread of applicability that I didn't anticipate when we developed it, just in trying to distill how we were looking at things when we were at Boeing and then beyond. And so I'm trying to articulate all of this into a book I've been working on basically since I left Boeing, but we're getting closer and closer to being done. That's part of one of my goals on this journey of turning into a mountain man, is to finish up the book. The book is called Destination Innovation, and it's using this system approach, but it takes it and looks at it in terms of a travel guide, Lonely Planet or any of the travel guides out there. There's a pretty standard format where it goes through, what is the history of the place you're going to, what number of days do you have to stay there or to experience that place, and then what you do when you're in those places. And so we take that same approach, make it very visual. It's not a black and white text business book by any means. It's like a hands-on, gritty, lots of pictures and illustrations to help have the book that I wish I always had when I was doing corporate innovation, and the one that I still want to have to hand to clients and be like, hey, this is how we would recommend you think about innovation. So
are you using your travels as
exactly. So pictures that we're taking of unique places, people that we're meeting along the way that have a really interesting story that maybe hasn't been told before. Like we stayed at a ranch in Colorado that does holistic land management and all organic meat, and how that's the future of ranching, but he's been doing it for 30 years. And there's been such reluctance to move in that direction. So highlighting his story that, it takes persistence on some of these things. It's not just overnight success when we think about a Google or an Amazon. There's a lot more that goes into it that you don't know about for the years leading up to the big splash.
As somebody who enjoys traveling as well, I love that approach with the book. Are you self-publishing that, or do you have a publisher lined up?
Don't have a publisher. So we reached out, so self-publishing as of right now. We work with a strategic editor that has been doing self-publishing for a long time in California, and he really did a lot of help kind of reorganizing some of the key messaging and flow of the book. But the other thing is just the book itself kind of leads you. It's like a choose your own adventure almost at the back end of the book. So the back end of the book, instead of going to different neighborhoods in New York City, it's each of those elements that we just walked through with the system model. So you could read it all the way through, but right before that section, there's an assessment, an online assessment to take to see which section you should actually start with. So it's almost like we choose your adventure for you and lay out the mapping based on the answers that you had. Let's say your purpose is nailed down, but you really don't have any solid processes yet, and that shows in the assessment outcome. Let's start with the processes and not focus on enhancing incrementally the purpose part, because you have that nailed down. Let's move on to the things that you need to fill in the big gaps with, and continue to enhance those things that you have stronger along the way. So we're trying to make it just really user-friendly, and help respect people's time, so that they don't have to read a 300-page book in order to get every nuance out of it.
Yeah. That's so cool.
How, if you're able to say, or comfortable saying, how many companies have gone through the incubator?
We have had a couple dozen that have gone through. So
Okay.
that includes pre and post pandemic. We have open now our next cohorts. We're trying to fill those. We can host. It's been really frustrating that non-dilutive and free or non-fee gets interpreted as being non-value added potentially for people, right?
Because you get what you pay for.
Right. But what that story doesn't tell is someone's paying us to deliver this for you so that you don't have to pay for it. And so, it's a tricky thing. We've had 12 slots open in every cohort, and the most we ever filled was 8. And so, we could have easily surpassed 100 people that we've supported, 100 individual organizations we've supported in the time frame we've been operating. But we're not connecting with the right people that are interested in these types of programs. And I think part of that is a challenge that we'll continue to face when we go into the communities that we choose to help support, by not having as high a maturity in innovation and entrepreneurship capacity. There's maybe more skepticism or just a lack of understanding of what we're trying to provide them to have so that they can be more successful. The part that's on our shoulders is connecting to the right people to participate in our programs. Somehow there's a disconnect there, because I'm not saying this pounding on my chest, puffy chest, proud. But these are really leading programs that we're offering at no expense to the participants other than their time and effort. And so getting that participation up is crucial for us.
So I just had a moment of creativity.
Yeah, love it.
Maybe we can improve your numbers with both of our
listeners. I got another idea though. I just brought into existence something new, and let's see if we can convert this into value for a stakeholder. So I'm gonna start with the assumption that somebody is not going to pursue the incubator because of the perception that free somehow does not equal value.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Put a value on it. Charge $7,000 for it. Yep. And then simultaneously create a what do you call it? Thank you. That's exactly the word I was looking for. A scholarship or some kind of a rebate program that they have to apply for. That's not terribly. You don't want to make it too hard.
Yeah.
But now instead of getting something for free, they're getting something for $7,000 that they don't have to pay for.
Yeah. So that we are thinking the same creative spot. So we just put together what that pricing model looks like per cohort, and we are going to start offering it for people that want to spend the money to jump in. And then we'll always allocate a number of slots of those 12 that will be, whether they're fellowships or scholarships, whatever language we want to use there, to provide access to the programming at no additional expense. So,
I feel like we helped.
Yeah, there you go.
You did. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And look, in the spirit of the wealth of networks, we're not going to charge you for that idea. That's free.
Okay, great.
Okay, well, that is the end of episode 17.
And we got one more. Kevin talks a lot. He's got a lot going on, And, it's amazing. I asked him, like, how are you doing this, like, while you're on this trip? I mean, how are you working and stuff? It's like, oh, I fit it in between stuff, and, he's got some backup and stuff, but...
I love it. I love it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it was I think a 90-minute conversation. So we're trying to keep it digestible. Of course, it doesn't help that we talk so much before and after each episode. But I guess that's our job.
Yeah.
So we do, though. We want to hear. We don't want it just to be us or our guests. We would love to get some engagement from the listeners. So if you've got a minute, go leave us a comment on your favorite podcasting platform. You can also do it at the website. If you go to distracteddrivingpodcast.com, each episode that you click into, you can leave a comment there.
Yeah, let's see your comments. What do you think?
We're
What are your favorite national parks that
there you go.
Kevin should go to?
Or you know what? If you just want to go hit the like button if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever podcasts are given away for free, just hit the like button. Give us some stars. Give us 1 star, 2 stars. Give us 5 stars. I don't know. Can you do 10?
Everybody always tells you to, like, hit that notification bell. It's so cheesy. Like, I hate it when people say that because that's what you want them to do. But like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Come on.
Don't hit the bell. Hit the star.
Just do whatever you
star.
want. Like, we're just glad you're listening. That's fine.
We are glad you're listening, both of you, and so thank you so much. Shoot us. I think you can shoot us an email too. I don't remember what the email address is, though. So, I do. It's distracteddrivingpodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. We have a Gmail.
Okay. Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode. We will see you next time for episode 18.